I am happy to welcome back our mindfulness expert, Devon Hayes. And for all of you joining us today, I'm very excited to share that we have representation across the United States, the UK, Canada, Australia, India, Italy, and Greece. This mindfulness community with the Parkinson's Foundation is stretching across borders, and we are so excited to share this space and time with each of you. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Devon Hayes. Thank you, Devon.
Thank you so much, Crista. It's just so fun to see all of you. Some familiar faces now, since we've been doing this for some weeks, and also all the new faces from all over the world, really. Just such a wonderful way to come together and connect. So I'm really grateful to be here with you today. So our theme for today is kindness, and we'll get into a meditation on kindness soon. But I wanted to just loop back. There were some questions that came up last week. If you were here last week, my partner Craig was teaching. And we thought it might be helpful to do just a little bit of a review. Over these last weeks, we've presented, offered a variety of different kinds of mindfulness meditation. So there's mindfulness on the breath, there's mindfulness on the body, there's mindfulness of emotions and thoughts. And really, sometimes when we get into the nuts and bolts of these practices, we might wonder, like, what is this really doing? How is it helpful? And how is it especially helpful for me with Parkinson's? So I wanted to offer just 3 principles that I think are guiding lines for what qualities we might actually see growing as we continue to practice, maybe on a weekly basis or even a daily basis, this mindfulness meditation practice. So the first one is, and I'm just going to put it in the chat so it's helpful, mindfulness builds resilience. So what does that mean? Resilience is the ability to be with things in an ongoing way, whether they're difficult or pleasant. And as many of you know, there can be a lot of difficulty with Parkinson's, especially in the body. There's physical experience, there's pain, there's tremor. And sometimes this tremor or the pain in your body might even feel like it's growing when you're practicing meditation. But often what's happening is that with mindfulness, we're shining attention on what's already here. And the resilience builds as we build a kind awareness, a warm attention that can actually hold the difficult in a kind of a spacious and open way. So often what we say is what we resist persists. So when we're pushing away the pain, when we're trying to suppress the tremor, right? Trying not to feel our feelings, then often they feel like they're growing. And so this practice is actually inviting a friendly relationship with our experience. And that grows our ability to be with it, whether it's difficult or not. So that's the first principle. Second principle is that mindfulness builds acceptance. So you can feel how these two are pretty similar, right? That as we're able to be with our experience just as it is over time with resilience, there is a kind of acceptance and allowing that comes in the mind. So especially with a physical ailment like this, we might really focus on the physicality, the experience of discomfort in the body. But what this practice is doing is training our minds and our hearts to hold the body in a different way. So when we grow acceptance, when the mind and the heart learn to be with things as they are, it actually can change our physical experience. So what's painful or aching or uncomfortable actually might ease. And really the attitude is, if it eases up, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too, right? This kind of resilience, this ability to sustain ourselves through the ups and downs of life, right? Because we all know life has their ups and downs. Often what we're trying to do is fix and control things, but this practice helps us to really open and accept things as they are. So that's the second principle. Third principle is mindfulness builds kindness. And that's really what we're going to focus on today. So up till now, we've really been building this muscle of focus, of attention. that knows what's happening in the mind and the body moment by moment, and that can come back when we get distracted. So we know the nature of the mind is to think. We'll get distracted, of course, but the muscle we're building is the ability to come back again and again. That's building concentration. Kindness is kind of like the other wing of the bird. So we need a kind of focus and sustainability, but we also need this warmth. We also need this friendliness. And this is really starting with ourselves. Sometimes it's hardest to have kindness for ourselves. But if we can't have kindness for ourselves, it's very difficult to extend it to others. And often what the body is asking for in its discomfort is this warm friendliness, is this wish, yeah, may I be happy? May I be free from pain? And it's not like a tight kind of expectation, like, may this practice fix me? But much more like, yeah, I have this really wholesome wish to have a healthy and easeful life. And that very natural wish for ourselves can help us connect with an innate kindness that's already here. And that builds this really just a natural warmth that also grows our resilience, that also grows our acceptance. So you can see how these three are very connected here together. So I'm seeing a question in the chat from Lois. Are there longtime meditators who have developed PD and can talk about how they handle symptoms with their practice? That's a really good question, Lois. I don't know of anyone, but I think this is a good question for me to look into. So I have some friends, Matt Hirschberg and others, Matthew Zeppelin, who work in these areas, and Crista actually might know some folks too. So I'm going to look into it and get back to you next week. And Crista and I, maybe you and I can touch base and we'll see if we know of any long-term meditators. But it's a great question. Thank you, Lois. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into the meditation, shall we? So if you've been coming, you might know that it's important to find a comfortable posture. And when we're mindful, we can actually do this in any posture. Standing, walking, lying down. But often we start sitting because it's a familiar posture, because we can feel the support of the chair beneath us. And it helps us steady the body. So we're steadying the mind as we steady the body. And of course, there's no need to be perfectly still. So if there is a tremor that comes, we're with it with a very kind awareness. No need to stop it or suppress it. So as you settle into your posture now, I'll just invite you to take a deeper breath. Good. And as you breathe out, you might just let go of any tension you're holding in your mind. Just notice if there's fatigue or restlessness or some kind of mood. And using the exhale, just breathe it all out. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes or keep a soft downward gaze. And then we're making this move to the inside. So often our attention is directed outside. It's like we're just turning back, looking inside, feeling your body, feeling what's happening right here in this mind, body, heart system. And of course, you might notice the discomfort right away. And knowing that just by greeting this experience with friendliness, you're building this muscle of resilience, of kind awareness, maybe even a little more acceptance. And then you might also just incline your mind towards what feels pretty okay in your body right now. Often we have this negativity bias that just notices what's difficult. And so mindfulness can also invite us to notice what's good. Maybe there is a part of your body that feels easeful. Just leaning in a little bit. Maybe it's the softness of your breath. And just the feeling of groundedness in your sit bones. And so from this place in your body, we'll just incline a little bit towards kindness. And kindness is this wish to be happy, to be at ease. So we'll just offer some kindness phrases. And you can just repeat these phrases silently in your mind. And of course, no worries if you don't feel anything. The feeling is sort of extra. This is just our kind intention coming out. So knowing that we all naturally want to be happy. And we can wish that for ourselves. So may I be happy. May I be happy. And may I feel at ease. May I feel at ease. May I be safe and protected. May I be safe and protected. And may I feel at peace with things as they are. May I feel at peace with things as they are. So just letting these phrases land in your body, in your heart, in your mind. And again, these kindness phrases aren't really meant to elicit any kind of emotion. It's just your intention. Just inclining towards these good wishes. May I be happy. May I live with ease. May I be safe and protected. And may I feel at peace with things as they are. May I feel at peace with things as they are. So again, feeling your body and noticing if it's responding at all to these phrases, just this turn towards kindness, towards friendliness. And often this practice is just shining a light on what's already here. So you might notice how so many things you do in your life come from this basic intention to be happy. That even just coming to this session today is maybe coming from a desire to be happy. And all the ways that you care for yourself, for your body, for your heart, for your mind. And just one last moment of recognizing the kindness that's already here. All the ways that you care for yourself and also for the world, for others. It's really the same kindness that takes care of our own well-being and also cares for the well-being of others. So good. If you want to take another deep breath. And then preparing to transition from the formal practice. So if your eyes are closed, you can open them. Good. And then just take a moment to look around. Just notice your surroundings and take in the light and the colors around you. Just orienting back. And so we'll do a little bit of Q&A here, and just the invitation to stay with your bodily sensations. This is the momentum, the continuity actually of awareness of the body. So this is an informal practice, and you can do this throughout your day. So knowing that you're building these muscles of resilience, of acceptance, and maybe friendliness, touching in informally when you remember, feeling your body, maybe even wishing yourself well. Or noticing how you're moving with that intention of kindness, even without knowing it. As you're eating food or exercising or talking with someone, that's all coming from this intention for well-being. So it can feel really good to just see what's already here. All right, so I see a couple of questions already. I'm just going to read this one. How do you incorporate a strong tremor into mindfulness meditation? It's a big distractor. Yes, thank you so much, Garrett. And actually, I love the way you phrase this question, because in some ways you already answered your question. You're talking about incorporating the tremor into the practice, as opposed to feeling like this is not part of the practice. I need to get rid of the tremor before I can do meditation. That actually it's just this move towards embracing it, actually. So in your question already, it sounds like you're having this sense of we can bring everything into our meditation. This is like awareness has room to hold the tremor, to hold the aches and the pains, to hold the distracted mind. So the tremor might be distracting, but the invitation is to just feel it in your body. The same way that you might feel the stillness of your feet, you might also just feel the movement of a tremor. And notice, of course, the mind might have aversion, that might be pushing it away. But what happens when we just come back to the bare experience of the tremor? So we're changing our attitude, our mental attitude. And this is not easy. So what I often like to suggest is that it's a titration. So you can feel the tremor for a while. When you get overwhelmed or you feel like you have aversion in the mind, go to something that's pleasant. So that might be listening to sounds in your environment, or it might be feeling the breath in the body. And then be with that for a while, and then you can go back to the tremor. So we're building that resilience, just slowly though, no need to push it. But it really is this frame of allowing things to be as they are. So we can incorporate the tremor in, just as you say. Instead of it being a distractor, it can actually become an object for your meditation. Okay? So I know it's easier said than done, baby steps, but that's really the principle of this thing. And thank you for asking the question. It's great. Good. We had someone say this was one of their favorite meditations, teaching it to one of your granddaughters. That's wonderful. So glad. Yeah. Any other questions that you might have coming up? It could also be your experience in this practice. Sometimes kindness can feel difficult. We feel like we should have some kind of warm, fuzzy feeling for ourselves. And if we feel numb or distracted, we think we're not doing it right. But actually, it's really just continuing with the practice over time, repeating the phrases, tapping into your good intentions again and again. So great from Trisha. How much time do you start with? Great question. This was pretty short. I think this was a 5 or 7 minute meditation. So that's a good place to start. If you just want to do something like this on a daily basis or every other day when you wake up or before you're about to go to sleep, really good. 5 minutes a day is great. If you want to build up, 10 is good. But when you build up time, I like to do it over in increments. So, not really just diving into 20 or 30 minutes right away, but starting short. And then you could do several sessions that are short throughout your day. So that's the formal practice. And then the informal practice is really just whenever you remember. Just feel your body. Maybe wish yourself some kindness. Oh yeah, may I be happy. Yeah, may I feel some ease right now in this situation? So you can do informal practice all the time, just whenever you remember it, while you're washing the dishes or doing chores, whatever it is. All right. Any other questions specifically about kindness, maybe? Traditionally, we start with ourselves and then we ripple out to others as well. So we're going to do this in a categorical way. And next week with Craig, he'll be offering you kindness for a good friend. And I think I said in the meditation, it's the same flavor. So kindness when it's directed towards ourselves is the same kindness when it's directed towards others. And I think often we're conditioned maybe to kind of skip over the part where we wish ourselves well, because we don't want to be selfish or self-centered. So we're so often just giving, right? Focused on others. And that's a good thing. That's beautiful. But it can really lead to a lot of burnout. And it's quite difficult if we're hurting ourselves, quite difficult to then be caring for others. So it really starts here. It's like, this is the laboratory first. And then when we really feel resourced and abundant and cared for, much easier to then ripple that out to other people, right? Much easier to share it. Okay, my friends, I know we're coming up on our time. Are there any other questions about any of that I just shared? Just give a moment for folks to maybe type in. I'm also thinking about Lois's question. If any of you know a long-time meditator that has PD, would really love to hear about it. So maybe bring that back to the next session. Do you have slides or a book with your mantra? Great question. So on our website, I think Jennifer just posted it. If you sign up for our newsletter, you'll receive 6 free meditations. And so these are the meditations that we've been doing with you. And they really go progressively, starting with the body, working through sound and breath, and then we have a kindness meditation as well. So those are posted on our website. Just sign up for our newsletter and you'll get those meditations in your inbox. There's also several, I think Craig might have mentioned these last week. There's several apps, meditation apps, that have these meditations on them for free. So Craig and I are on an app called Simple Habit. And so that one is easy to download, and then you can just do a search for our names and you'll find our kindness meditations there. I also recommend 10% Happier. That one has several free meditations, and then they have a subscription. But just let us know if you want, and we can probably get you some access to those meditations for free as well. And then the other one that we like to recommend is Insight Timer. They have a lot of material on there, all freely offered. Many meditations on kindness. So those are some good resources. Oh, great. Thank you, Annette. Silver Sneakers has meditations also. That's great. I didn't know about that app. Yeah. Yeah, so there's so much out there. You could do your guided meditation with a different app every day. So really the invitation to tap into those resources for sure. Anything else to offer? I would also say, yep, we're in the theme of kindness. So if you want to do this daily, you could do kindness for yourself every day this week. And then know next Monday that we'll do kindness for a friend. And also just a word about this practice can be challenging. That often when we're in the territory of the heart, I like to use this analogy of it's like drawing a magnet over the heart. And so all the little bits and pieces of shards of things and metal, all the stuff comes to the surface. So sometimes this can bring out difficult emotions. It can bring out some criticism of ourselves, right? Feeling like there's something wrong with me. Why don't I feel kind towards myself? Or why can't I access all this feelings of kindness and compassion? Or memories can come up. So just to be really gentle with yourself as you practice. And to use that titration method. When something's difficult, be with it for a while. Know that you're building resilience. And then tap back into something that's easeful. So it's nice for each of you to actually find what that easeful anchor might be. And it's different for everyone. For me, it's often the breath, just the calming nature of the breath. For others, it might be listening to sounds in the environment. It might be feeling your feet on the floor. It might be feeling your hands. You might be considering a good friend or someone you really love and care for. So have that kind of resourceful anchor to tap back into if you do hit difficult material. Or if you're having tremor and you're frustrated and getting overwhelmed, tap into something that's easeful and then titrate that way. Okay, you guys. Okay, how can we access 10% Happier? So it's an app that you can download, and you can just do a search for 10% Happier on your in your app store, and you'll find it. You can download it there. And maybe what I'll do is, Crista, is there a way that we can send out a link for folks? It's really pretty easy if you search it.
Yeah, absolutely. We send post-event emails. So if you are here now, we've got your email and we can send you a link to the 10% Happier webpage. I'd also encourage you guys to follow Devon and Craig on their website, devonandcraighayes.com.
Excellent. All right, I think that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for your attention, your questions, your practice. Yeah, really good to be with you.
Thank you, Devon, so much for being here, and for all of you for joining us. Please, use some loving kindness towards yourself this week as your practice, and be sure to join us next Monday for our mindful meditation on loving kindness for a friend. I'll see you all right here this time next week. Goodbye.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care.